Hi, welcome to Wolf Official's podcast show. Would you like to say hi, Carl Schultz?
Hi, everybody.
This is our host, Carl Schultz, and I'm Shannon Wall from Better Culture.
Thank you all for coming out tonight. We love you.
And we are talking to you from Las Vegas, Nevada. So, today we are going to talk about how we were able to have an abundance mindset of thinking greater than the average person and looking outside of the box to make passive income. So, Carl, how did you come to your realization of figuring out how you can make passive income for yourself?
Excellent question, Shannon. Well,
Thanks.
It all started with the desire to not work for another soul. And just being real happy about what it is you're passionate about. And so, dividends was something that entered my life through a lot of financial books, and it just all comes together eventually. And then you pretty much just put the pieces together. For me, it was dividends, because dividends actually are about as passive to me as many other things. I like the fact that I see the dollar signs coming in through them very frequently.
So, how would you explain dividends to the average person who hasn't done a lot of research on business or passive income or any of that? How would you make it like this? What's a simple definition of a dividend?
A dividend is an exchange of money for time, and that's my opinion. So, what that means is I give you a note, a piece of paper, something, in exchange for cash. So if I want a piece of your pie, if I buy a piece of your pie, then I want that pie to last as long as possible. So dividends, if you want me to explain it to a second grader, it's pretty simple. Just search for a stock, a company, and then see how frequently it pays out dividends. Once you see how many dividends are frequently being paid out, then you take that and you incorporate that into your portfolio.
So basically, a dividend is, say you invest money into Apple. Apple is one of the stocks that you're investing money in, and they pay out a certain amount of money to you every month or every 3 months for you investing into their company. So they'll pay you like 10 cents, 50 cents, or $1 for just investing into their stock without selling your stock, or it's just you keeping your money in their company, like you investing in them. So they're paying you back in small, very small amounts of you just investing in their company. And say you buy like 10 shares of Apple and it's 10 cents per share. So that would be $1 every month or every 3 months, depending on if they're paying you monthly or quarterly. So
Right. So that's the best definition by far. So how I looked at it was along those lines. I noticed that there were 3 different types of financial statements, and the 2 are familiar to a lot of people, but the third one is the cash flow statement. And so on the cash flow statement, you want to have something driving revenue to your company, and whatever that is, it should be nearly as passive as possible. But dividends make an excellent source of income on the cash flow statement. Focus on the cash flow statement.
What do you mean by cash flow statement? Like, is that just like the 10 cents that you see coming in like every month or like every 3 months?
Yeah, so every dividend is going to come into a bank account. Usually, most people look at their checking account to see if there is a dividend coming in, but that's not always the case. They don't see it because it's in their brokerage account. And so the brokerage account is where you're going to see most of the money coming in. And then it's a new type of idea. It's a new type of idea where you can see that the money from the dividends inside the brokerage account, you can see that they produce a cash flow statement in itself inside that dashboard.
So, the key to having passive income through dividends is to have a brokerage account and to find out what companies have been around for a long time, right?
Yeah, you'll want to use.
Who have been increasing.
Steadily increasing.
It's very steady. So if you want to be risky with stocks, then that's when you buy and sell stocks. But dividends is completely opposite of that. It's you being conservative and slowly increasing your cash flow every single month. So what Carl's doing is he is investing a little bit of money at a time, increasing his cash flow. So the more stocks he buys, the more dividends he gets back every month or every 3 months. And what was your idea of how you get it monthly instead of quarterly?
Alright, yeah, no, this is getting good. This is interesting. So when it comes to monthly dividends or quarterly dividends or even annual dividends, you need to look at it like they got to pay at least once a year, I would say. And that if they do pay once a year, it better be a lot. The reason it better be a lot is because you have all those other 11 months that are associated to monthly expenses, and that you need that money. So, or you got to make it last. And if you're not good at making it last, then you might need to do monthly dividend income, so that it suits your cash flow monthly. So when you don't project as far out there, you can at least expect a monthly cash coming in. And that was what I was referring to earlier about the cash flow statement.
The way you explained it to me was different. Like, the way you explained it to me, it was like really simple. Like, you're able to decide when you get paid from the quarterly ones, right? Like which months you get paid from the quarterly
Exactly, yeah.
stocks. So what he does is he finds out which ones pay quarterly, and if they're monthly, he doesn't have to mess with that. It's continuous income every month. But with the ones that pay quarterly, to have guaranteed monthly income from those companies is he invests money in multiple companies. So say he invests money into one quarterly one that's July, August, September. And then, so his other one is going to be, he can pick any 3 months to do his quarterly one for that stock. So then he would do October, November, December for that one. So that he can be, and then the next one would be the next 3 months and the next 3 months, so that he's getting consecutive cash flow from each stock.
Right. Instead of doing a one year dividend paid out annually, you can do it over the course of months. And you can make your life easier that way. And I think the idea is just to make a money machine make this machine work hard for you. And what that means is you want to do the minimal amount of effort as possible. You want the machine to work in your favor. So right now, for a lot of people, they don't understand that. Okay, they don't understand the concept, or I mean, they understand the concept, but they don't know how to apply that in their real life. So what that means is you probably have a million things going on right now that you're trying to make money from. Well, you have to realize at some point you're going to go for the activities that pay more money and offer less work. So that's kind of a good thing in that the machine is always something that you want to contribute to. Always.
What do you mean the machine?
The money machine?
Like having it work for you instead of you working for it?
Yeah, so the amount of effort involved with this machine should be very simple. It should be about your brokerage account, going into your brokerage account and looking at your money and watching it come in and knowing that you have this amount of dividends coming in every month from that one click, from that one account. That's your machine.
Okay. So just gonna talk about why is it good to diversify your, like, what stocks you invest in.
Diversifying your
What's the exit?
diversifying your investments is so important. But you make your money when you buy. So when you diversify things, you're shooting from the hip, saying, all right, someday this may not last. Something might wipe this thing out. Unfortunately, that's how it is. And when you know that something can get wiped out in a matter of instant, you know that your cash flow can be out in a matter of instant. So yeah, it's really important to diversify yourself so that you have this reliability of money coming in. Everyone's different. Some people are more active and riskier. Some people are very conservative, such as myself.
So you want to be very conservative because you're either winning it all or losing it all, and you don't want that because you're risking a lot of money. So you want to be very conservative about it because it's guaranteed income for you every month, rather than investing in a stock and depending if it's like gonna do good or not, or like crash. So you don't want to invest all this money and then have it crash and then you lose all that money. If you're conservative about it, it's guaranteed that your cash flow is gonna be constantly increasing if you're investing in stocks to receive dividends. So it's really important to diversify your stocks and just invest in a bunch of different companies, because if one company goes down and crashes, like the company isn't doing well, so they stop paying you dividends and their share to you, then that's a drop of one of your monthly incomes. So you want to just diversify so you can. So if one stock drops, then you'll be okay, because you have so many other stocks that you invested in.
Yeah, the life of an investor, Shannon, is really the water's deep and the ocean's large.
That was the turn.
Yeah, the ocean is large, and you got to be able to handle this water, the open sail, as they call it. You know, the ocean is very vast, and you got to be able to make waves, but you also need to be able to play in the waves.
Whatever that means.
Yeah, so
is there any questions that you want to ask about anything?
Yeah, ask you or
yeah, I guess, since I'm the only one over here.
Yeah, let's see here. You know, I've been asking a lot of questions lately.
Have you?
Yeah, and sometimes it's hard to be decisive, so I was wondering if anybody has any tips on how to be more decisive.
Okay, and you can leave that in the comments down below. So let's move on to a mindset of an investor and someone who wants to be a millionaire or billionaire, someone who wants to be very successful and abundant in every aspect of their life. So, what is your mindset like through your daily activities of like staying positive and like keeping on top of your game about everything? Like, what do you tell yourself and what do you like to keep a positive mindset?
The mindset is the most important tool. The mindset should be your first priority. You have to be able to plan. You have to be able to communicate with other people as well as yourself. So the mindset to have is a can-do attitude for certain. You need to have a can-do attitude. But you also need to remember that it's you. It's all you. And you're the one that's going to have to be the captain of this ship. So the mindset is something everyone's trying to figure out. You know, and I think a hard work mindset will take you far.
Yeah, you just gotta keep going, and if you don't think you're good enough for your dream or accomplishing something like you don't think you're, like you keep doubting yourself, then you just gotta let that go and keep like, the thing that helps me get rid of doubts and fear is to just start acting on my dreams, like acting on like doing things to work towards my dream. Because once you're like working really hard and you keep working and continuing on to the next thing, then you don't even think about like, oh, you don't even doubt yourself like, oh, I'm not doing well, because you're continuing to work hard and like continuing on to the next thing. So you're like not even thinking about like, oh, did I do well on that, or I'm not sure like how I feel about that, and like, am I good enough for that? Or so keeping yourself busy definitely helps with like getting rid of doubts and fears that you might have in starting your business or creating a life of abundance.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. You know, this is the healer, Shannon Wall. She heals.
Why do you keep calling me the healer?
She heals people.
Oh yeah, I heal their minds.
She'll take you out and put you in a box.
Whatever that means.
No, yeah, it's good. She's good. She's good stuff.
So just keep going, keep working hard, read books on success, and I think a major thing to have in life is a mentor to keep you accountable. Because that was a huge thing for me. Like, I was terrible at keeping myself accountable, because if I failed, I'm like, oh, whatever, no big deal. But if I fail and my mentor sees me do it, then I'm like, oh man, they know that I'm trying to work towards this goal, and they see me fail, then I have to be better the next time. Like, it just helps you to keep being better the next time, because when you're meeting with a mentor every 2 weeks or like once a month or whatever, you want to tell them something like better, that you've done better in your life, or that you've created something, or like what are you doing?
Oh no, I was just looking through it. Go ahead.
So yeah, you just want to keep it's good to have a mentor because they keep you accountable to just like keep improving in your life, because if you keep meeting with a mentor every other week or once a month or whenever you meet with a mentor, if you have one, and you have nothing to show for anything when you meet them, like just tell them like, oh, nothing's really new, then you don't really feel good about yourself. But if you like did all this work and worked really hard, and then you go see them, you're like, oh, I like did all this stuff and I like got all this done and I'm really improving on this, then it feels a lot better to meet up with them when you accomplish something before then, and like having them keep you accountable for doing something. And it also shows your track record when you have someone to keep you accountable, because you're looking back on, like, how was I the last time I met with them? Like, what kind of situation was I in? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, the mentorship program is really big. That is, like, the one thing you gotta focus. Nah. The mentorship program is gonna give you as much as you put in. I have a problem with taking it seriously because I go through a lot of mentors. Or maybe I just have a lot. A lot of people are mentors to me.
What do you mean taking it seriously?
Most people think they don't need a mentor. Yeah, I think people think they don't need a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one that's really going to hold you accountable.
I think that's very true, but there's also a lot of people, like, before I had mentors, I was like following myself, and I was going around in circles trying to figure out what I needed to improve in my life and do better and like try to be on the right track, and I couldn't do that with my same mindset and following myself. Like, I follow myself and I go around in circles and nothing gets done. I'm like trying to figure out the right path. When I met my mentors, like, I was able to have like a clear path, and I was able to follow someone who has the life that I want in mind. So, yeah, it was just a lot easier. It's a lot easier when you have a mentor, because I just lost my train of thought.
Why you have a mentor?
Being distracting. Yeah. But yeah, it helped me grow as a person, because if you're just following yourself, then it was hard for me to grow, and I didn't have mentors. So if you're like following someone who's a lot more successful than you and following in their footsteps, then you're improving your life. They're pulling you up. So. But,
all right. So, I think that concludes this podcast episode with
yes.
With yours truly.
Thank you for listening, guys. I hope you enjoyed it.